42 seconds of logo. Also Disney. Moana is addicted to this hermit crab. The real world reason for this chase is that movies think they have to start with high-octane action to grab our attention. I can only assume the in-universe reason is that Moana likes her breakfast meats to be flavored with adrenaline.
Just an easy little hop.
Killing your friend.
Hey, you wanted to come this time.
Cool, but stay with me here. How did he tell you that?
Just a little.
Holy shit, this is more dangerous than the stunt Tom Cruise tried to pull in Mission Impossible 2. Except I'm supposed to believe Moana is an actual person. Also, this is terrible climbing technique. You jump as a last resort, not when there are plenty of handholds available. If you're going to encourage kids to be reckless, at least do it responsibly.
There's gotta be other people out here. Other villages.
There it is not. The universe is not at the whim of your hopes and dreams. The movie will make Moana a superhero demigod by the end, but I dare say she already is some sort of superhuman, since she can survive falls from great heights and not even shit in her skirt a little. Also, if she needed the vines to catch her, how did the pig survive? In Moana, Disney crafted a beautiful adventure establishing Moana as the wayfinder of her people, all so that her next adventure can be jump-started by the comic relief chicken. I refuse to believe that Moana has spa-worthy pedicure piggies after all the beach running, wall scaling, and forest romping. Moana is barely touching the mast with her hand and somehow clinging to it like a fly. This means her powers now include sticky feet, and let's check Disney's website. Ah yes, and not having a boyfriend. Moana's mother returns this child to Earth and sends him on his way as if confident that gravity has learned its lesson and will know to try harder next time. Chief is singing about pulling the roof higher, but I'm not sure why they'd be raising the roof of a building that isn't storing people or things. This is their ceremonial spot, and making more room inside of the empty ceiling is a waste. This new storyteller guy gathers the children around to tell them about Moana, as if he knows there's a small percentage of people in the theater, tribe, that wouldn't have seen the first movie, known about the celebrity living in their own village. That is not how ships work, which means the ocean is helping Moana cheat in the race with her father. Some hero.
New fruit. You're gonna love it.
I don't love anything.
CinemaSins.
It's called a hair whip.
Parent goes boosin', but the yeet turns Chiyugi trying to sound Gucci. No cap. Cliche.
I don't even know what it's made of.
Plottery, obviously.
There are other people out there.
It means there were other people out there. This broken pot could have been made hundreds of years ago, shortly before they were tragically wiped out by war, natural disaster, or the British.
I just have to figure out how to find those stars.
Moana has a knack for saying exactly what she has to do despite not knowing much of anything about the situation at all. Why she doesn't use that stupid power for something more important like, I just have to figure out how to invent pizza, is beyond me. Also, I guess it's just pure chance that the one relic Moana stumbled upon was a piece of astronomy pottery and not a bedpan. Also, how do you know those are stars? To me, that looks like a volcano erupting. Or a fish vomiting? This kind of blind certainty is how you get lost at sea. Or religion. Disney couldn't let the littlest audience members feel disconnected from the aging Moana, so we have a tiny one to go along with the original. And they threw in other varieties to be for sure that all the merch will sell. Look at this pissed off granny looking like she's squaring up to the youngins. We won't find out what happened because they all vanish in the next scene somehow. And I was really invested in what she was going to do next.
You said you'd bring me a present.
Huh. Well, let me see.
Character pulling something out of an interdimensional pocket cliche. Also, this is the equivalent of a parent forgetting to bring a gift back after a trip and just handing over something they bought at the airport on the flight home. Except this is a priceless cultural artifact, which is also the first proof of life not on this island.
I am Moana Motunui. You'll board my boat and restore the heart of Tafiti.
Trying to make it previously on adorable.
And why would I risk breaking the rules for you?
Who are you again? Someone should tell Disney that establishing a character's existence really does help us care about successes or failures. Using a hook as a shield, especially when what little girth it has isn't protecting your face. Oh, thank goodness we cut away. There was a whole second there where I was in very real danger of enjoying myself.
Mystery Island? Cool.
I'd like a sample of that.
Why, though? You build canoes. Everyone cheers for Moana after this impromptu dance-off, but I want to know the judges' criteria. Moana did great, but these kids had a 4-person dance to choreograph and should score higher due to the level of difficulty.
We don't want the pork getting cold. Ooh, gotta stop doing that.
No, your village needs to eat. What you've got to stop doing is making pets out of breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Tonight, we drink from our ancestors' bowl.
Ancient germs. Wait, I remember this scene. Isn't this when the humans crack open the whale's skull to get the immortality fluid from its brain so James Cameron can live forever and take even longer to make his movies?
Returning to Fiti's heart was the beginning.
The box office gods told us so.
Find Motufetu.
But I don't know how to reach it.
A fire in the sky will guide you.
This vague is is the best he can give her after she's struck by lightning and had to live through the trauma of his failures. His ship crashed on a beach on an ancient shore on the other side of a god portal. Talk about that. Or tell her that in your magical whale form, you know the island is below the waves. Tell her the box office takings. What the f does it matter to you? You're a spirit.
Took some searching, but
I eventually managed to find these tapestries that basically spell out what you have to do. Wild that no one read them until now, considering how proud of our history we are.
an ancient island connecting the people of the entire sea until it was lost, cursed.
So Atlantis? We're doing Atlantis again?
Our ancestors believed reaching Motufetu would break Nalo's curse.
And where's your PowerPoint slide for that one? Moni is about to share some pretty specific interpretations, and I don't see any accompanying clip art supporting any of it.
Fire in the sky.
That looks nothing like fire. That is a bland rainbow in the sky at best.
I don't want you to leave.
And then she runs off, leaving her sister extra early when she could have spent more time with her. Kids, man, they're so dumb. These dicks choose to have a council meeting deciding the future of their people without Moana, just because she'd rather be singing. Also, Moana chooses to miss this council meeting deciding the future of her people because she'd rather be singing.
Grandma.
Huggable ghosts.
It's part of a series.
Wow.
Yeah, way to waste a lot of precious resources and bog down the island library with your stupid fan art.
The ocean is my friend. It connects us.
Other than that time it killed your dad's best friend and scared an entire generation from exploring the ocean, of course. Also, I'm pretty sure this discount Moses is how fish get separated from their families. So thanks, Moana 2, for finding Dory.
Together, we take our freedom!
Braveheart references carbon dated to 1995. You know, for 2024 kids.
Now all you gotta do is get my hook.
What is it supposed to do when it gets to the hook? Gum you to freedom? Looks like Moana 2 attended the DreamWorks school of getting a cheap laugh by animating gross things. Hilarious, but how did the sphincter vomit up a tattoo of a fish skeleton?
Where's the farmer?
The farmer is below deck farming things, and it looks like that's where he's been the whole time. How is this a surprise? Also, Singing Hero is a dick to her crew by not using Farmer's actual name.
I don't do sing-alongs.
Me too, my friend. Have one of these. Skip! That almighty moon is a clear sign that Moana never woke up from that lightning strike earlier and is currently in a fever coma. And trust me, the rest of the movie will make much more sense under that guise. How much parchment and paint did Moni bring for him to justify using all this on a flip book that shows just a few minutes of their journey?
It's Motufetu! We found it!
Premature motivation.
That's no island.
That's no moon cliche. Look, I'm beginning to think Disney just wants to make sure they're getting good value for money by constantly quoting the properties they purchased. Also, the coconut goblins turned up at the 45-minute mark in the first Moana movie, but in Moana 2, they have arrived at the 35-minute mark. Screw everyone who says this movie is just the first movie all over again. That's a whole 10 minutes different, you haters. Maybe Lodo could work a canoe design that doesn't require the pilot to pull a f***ing Cirque du Soleil to operate it.
You guys! Cargo hold!
I agree. Everyone on the boat is f***ing useless and needs to stay out of Moana's way while she manages to steer away from danger. However, the movie robs us of the 3 minutes it would take to perfectly pack her companions in the cargo hold while they remain in a stupor. Haha, f*** you, physics.
Nuts.
Wasting a perfectly potent poison on a butt that does not need it. Dave's chick flagana? Though she is supposed to be paralyzed, Moana is somehow able to keep her head held high as she is moved along the deck. You know, rather than her head smacking uncontrollably on the ship deck, raking splinters into her face, which would have actually been the funniest gag in the movie. This entire coconut presentation is some reality-breaking nonsense. First I thought maybe they have someone behind the board painting the next scene on the back of each coconut in real time while the story is being told. But the movie fucks itself by showing faces when they spin, meaning we are always seeing the same side, which means the new scene is being painted as the coconuts are spinning, and frankly, I do not believe that is happening. Also, this bottom lefter is turning around for no reason when his color doesn't change at all. You're just complicating things, man. Stay still and be the useless bottom left piece.
But if we help you defeat the clam, you'll help us reach Motufetu.
Moana somehow speaks coconut confidently enough to navigate all the important details of this sudden clam mystery and the hidden island. It's f***ing stupid.
A clam is basically one giant muscle. So we get close enough with that stuff, shoot it in the ganglion. It's good night, clam.
This means that in all the time that the clam has separated the coconuts from their home, they never once tried to attack with the only weapons they have?
How do we shoot that ganglion if we don't know what it looks like?
I think we're gonna know what a ganglion looks like when we see it.
If they didn't know what a ganglion was before now, how did they know to suggest shooting it there in the first place?
And this is why you always have a backup.
Cool, but where did they come from? You just made a joke about how that one coconut was reluctant to hand the spear over. Plus, I don't see a safe or practical way that you could be stowing that 5-foot-long spear with a neurotoxin on its tip. This guy needs to scream because the chicken screaming just wasn't enough. The boat survives this.
Kakamora, you did this! Made an assumption there.
To be fair, you made an assumption based on an animator deciding to make this thing sleep in a way that makes its eyeball look exactly like a coconut.
Fascinating. It's like an acid.
An acid that was fired directly at you and will dissolve the floor, but not your clothing, skin, or eyeballs.
You look like a kidney stone.
These people don't know what pottery is, but they do know about kidneys and their stones.
You live here?
Not by choice.
I really appreciate the subtle imagery here. Matangi is a powerful demigod who's been trapped inside a clam, a clear metaphor for how the patriarchy traps women by the very nature of their reproductive parts. Or I am desperately trying to find meaning in what should have been a direct-to-DVD sequel.
Why would I listen to anything you say?
I want you to beat Nalo, because then I'll be free.
Everything about this lady screams Ursula from The Little Mermaid, but Moana trusts her anyway, and everything turns out fine. Turns out she is one of the good guys and is being completely straight with this bargain. It's actually quite dull. I miss Ursula. I've never been more confused by the anatomy of a clam.
And Mr. Coconut Oil.
Who's Mr.
He's the guy who's been waiting in the shadows for this perfect introduction.
She opened it?
Confused? You and me both, buddy. The magic words sounded cool, but we have no clue where Moana learned them. All we know for certain is that Singy Lady does know and chose not to make a song about it.
If Nalo finds out I helped, we'll die by lightning.
I don't know, this god seems to be fond of threats and not really acting. Like, he could have killed all the sea villages instead of separating them. He could have killed Maui instead of allowing him to meddle. He could have killed you instead of trapping you next to the exact portal that someone might need to reunite the sea people. I don't know. He seems pretty fucking haphazard with his punishments.
So unless I break the curse, you just bought a one-way ticket to Deadsville.
I'm sorry, I stopped listening after unless I break the curse because obviously that's what you're going to do rather than anyone dying.
Which is why I didn't want you coming out in the first place, because now you're stuck.
Maui is acting like he and Moana had a conversation about this before, but this is the first she's heard of it. This is like deciding to go to a masquerade party after overhearing some friends talk about it. But once you get there, an old friend you haven't talked to in 3 years pulls you to one side and informs you that at midnight everyone gets naked and dances to devil music, and that's why they didn't invite you personally, and they're now upset you came to the party without checking with them first. Exactly. It makes no fucking sense.
The ancestors wouldn't have called if we couldn't do this.
Unless it was a butt dial. That'll make sense in 2,000 years.
If he knows about telephones, then doesn't he also know how this ends? Can't he prevent the bad from happening? Can't he make 2021's Death on the Nile not happen? Use your power for good, Maui.
You live the island, and I step on it.
When has a human setting foot on the island ever been mentioned as the way to break the curse before now? Moana seems to, once again, have guessed her way into that one.
Moana, we can't turn that tide with this sail. It'll work.
Scotty says, she cannot take it and more, Captain. But Captain Kirk ignores him, and it works anyway, cliche. Maybe Nalo should have guarded this place with sea creatures that weren't allergic to sunlight. Moana and team didn't win anything here. The Earth's rotational axis did.
Ow! No purple apples. Stop. Ow!
Considering that the tattoo can physically manipulate part of Maui's body, I'm wondering what exactly Matangi meant when she said,
Probably too busy playing with his tattoo.
No one likes sucking at their job.
Why are you even here? I haven't done anything right since I left my island.
Mopey Moana has done plenty. She figured out the fire in the sky vagary, opened a portal to a magic island with no instructions, and survived a sea monster attack. Sure, people were put in danger, but it was danger that they knew they'd all be getting into. She didn't sign a contract and lose her voice. She didn't trust a sketchy apple in a forest. She didn't prick her finger on a sewy thingy. She's doing okay, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to believe this particular brand of self-loathing. We just heard the lyric, come on, Moana, can I get a chi-hoo? And I don't need to wait until the credits to know that Lin-Manuel is no longer in the building.
You think that it's Doomsday. To me, it's just Tuesday.
Street Fighter? You're gonna steal song lyrics from Street Fighter now? Okay, it's the best line in Street Fighter, but still. Fucking Street Fighter? Throughout this musical montage, Moana trains to jump over waves and dodges lightning, while Maui attends the Lord of the Rings school of eagles not taking the hobbits to Mordor and things. He's hairless armpits.
Go get him, princess.
Still not a princess.
Well, a lot of people think you are.
Womp womp.
I did the decorations.
Family bumper stickers.
We sail to the heart of Nalo's storm.
How does Mini-Me Maui work? Right now, he's in on the plan and showcasing a tattoo telling as if he knows what Maui is thinking as Maui narrates. But earlier, when Maui pretended to not need Moana, he seemed offended on her behalf as if he wasn't in on the joke, despite being part of Maui's body and connected to his brain. I was wrong to assume there was a brain, wasn't I?
It'll be harder than anything we faced before.
Oh, so the one thing you faced before, right. I mean, giant clam and eels, so maybe two. Two things you faced before. This pep talk is lacking receipts. Hey, murdering this innocent fish.
It's a storm, just a really big one.
I don't know why she's so worried. She spent that whole Chi-Hu montage learning how to wave hop through a tropical storm and dodge lightning. Based on that, she doesn't even need a boat.
Now I kind of miss the lava monster.
Me too. I mean, at least I understood the lava monster, and when the reveal about the lava monster came to life on screen, it was beautiful storytelling. This movie has barely explained anything about this new foe. We basically heard, "Bad God, no like Bat Lady and people." Lodo just whacked the mast in half and threw the sail onto a few knots to make a parachute. The fact that it holds through any of the following scenes is lunacy.
We have to drop planks!
It appears that the movie wants us to believe that chucking a few plants and coconuts really saves the day, and I just don't believe that could be true. The sun seems to have already gone down, and the nighttime scary eels haven't appeared. I guess the movie doesn't need them anymore, even though their return would pretty much ensure the good guys lose. Can't have that at the end of a Disney movie, now can we? The movie decides to strike Moana with lightning twice so that kids everywhere can argue with their parents when their elder says lightning can't strike the same place twice, as if we need another reason to think that kids are a bunch of assholes.
Moana, you can't.
Of course you can't. This is Disney. Disney only kills parents. I think the lesson for the children is pretty clear on this one. If you really want to make a difference, you risk it all and jump into the deep end and die, because magical people will save you and unlock your godlike magic. Get lost, get risky, get Disney+. Glad we were given all of 3 minutes to contemplate whether Maui losing his tattoos was something to give a shit about.
Does this mean?
That you're a demigod now and completely unrelatable to your audience in basically every form? Yes.
I'm gonna need you to stop doing that.
Oh, really now? What happened to...
Never change.
About a minute has passed since she blew her fancy horn of calling, and now suddenly people from all the around come to the central island of gathering. Why were they so close when the horn blew? Or how are they traveling so fast? Is the ocean helping? Are we going to see the impact of infectious diseases in this movie or the next? Also, why haven't they stumbled upon Moana's island yet? They can't all have a boat-hating chief whose best friend was killed by the ocean, right? What stopped them from accidentally finding Motunui? Unless we're saying that all currents lead to Motufetu, which was, until recently, an enchanted death storm. But if that's the case, how did Moana make it to that other island where she found pottery?
The present for you. Straight from Motufetu.
For all she knows, Motufetu is the demigod's ass cheek from where this rock has magically appeared.
What's it do?
Creative ways of saying nothing, kid. It's a rock with a hole in it. This awkward fist bump handhold thing happening here.
I paid my debt. We are finished.
No. We're just getting started.
The box office for Moana 2 was off the charts, which means Discount Thanos is right, and Moana 3 is no doubt on the way. Can't help but be reminded of the following quote from Captain Picard.
It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose.
That, but the exact opposite. This movie makes all the mistakes and still manages to f***ing win.
You think you're so great because you have boats! I made it past the reef! Like a panther.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You told me Vader betrayed and murdered my father.
Your father was seduced by the dark side of the Force.
Mother hush bucket. Why take the escalator when I've got a perfectly good canoe?
Nuts.
3 darts is too much!
I'm a nocturnal placental flying mammal.
21 gigawatts! It's people. Silent Green is people!